Right, this is an example where we're going to use the flowchart eventually to solve it, but there are various things we have to do first. So to start with, we always ask the question, can we use the flowchart? And here we can't because x is in two places. Now, in addition to that, you also have x inside these brackets. Now I like to describe that as being trapped. So x is trapped inside the bracket, so we can't do anything with x because it's got this multiplied by 4 outside the brackets. So the first thing we would do is expand the bracket to release it so we can move it about. So the first thing I'll do is 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 3 is 12, and the other side stays the same. Now I've got that, it should look like other examples you've seen. Here we've got 4x, so we can take away 4x from both sides, or here we've got 2x, we can take away 2x from both sides. Hopefully now you're confident enough to know that the best option is to take away 2x from both sides, and that leaves us with 2x plus 12 equals, they cancel, so we've just got 22 there. And at this point, can we use the flowchart? We've got x in one place and it's positive. So this is a bit redundant, I expect by now, but I'll show you how to do it anyway. X multiplied by 2, add 12 is 22. 22, take away 12 is 10. Divided by 2 is 5. X equals 5. Okay, if you want to, don't forget to check it in the original bracket, so I'll show you that now. 5 plus 3 is 8. 4 8s, well that's 32. And here 5, 2 5s are 10, plus 22 is 32. So it works. Right, in this example, can we use the flowchart diagram? Can we use the flowchart? Well, we've got x in two places, so we can't. And just like the last example, x is trapped inside brackets. So we're going to have to expand the brackets. So this side stays the same. 3 times x and 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. At this point, can we use the flowchart? Let's have a look. X is in two places, so we can't. So we need to do something. Well, we can either add 3x to both sides or take away 3x from both sides. If we take away 3x from both sides, this will become negative 6, which is not very appealing to me, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. So I'm going to add 3x there, and add 3x there. And what I'll end up with is this cancelling. Well, 3x, take away 3x altogether, makes nothing. And this becomes 6x, take away 12. Now, you can probably work it out yourself, and you should if you can. So if you can see what the answer is here, you can just write x equals whatever. But I'll show you how to use the flowchart just in case. So we start with x, we multiply by 6, we take away 12, and the answer is 0. 0, add 12, well that's 12, divide by 6 is 2. So the answer is x equals 2. And I suggest you check that in the original, but I'm not going to do that for this example. So again, even though it's really complicated, we must ask the question, can we use the flowchart straight away? Well, x is in two places, so we can't. And also, both the x's are trapped inside brackets, so I'm going to expand the brackets. 7 times 2 is 14, so that's 14x. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 4x is 12x. And 3 times 3 is 9. So I've expanded the brackets. Can I now use the flowchart? I've got x in two places, so I can't. So I'm going to move either the 14x by taking it away, or the 12x by taking it away. Here, I'm going to take away 12x from both sides, because that will leave me a positive on this side. 14 take away 12 is 2x, plus 21. That disappears because it cancels out, and you get 9. And at this point, you've got x in one place, so you can use the flowchart, or use your common sense. In this case, it's harder to use your common sense because if you look at it, it's not really obvious. So it's quite a good idea in this situation to use the flowchart. X multiplied by 2, add 21 is 9. 9, take away 21, and that's going to give us some kind of negative. So 9 take away 21 is going to be negative 12. And then divide by 2, negative 12 divided by 2 is negative 6, and that equals x. So x is negative 6. Here's a really mean looking question. Again, can I use the flowchart method? Because you must always bear in mind that sometimes these complicated questions can just be solved using the flowchart. Here though, you probably guessed already, you can't because x is in 2 places. So instead of that, what we're going to have to do is try and sort this out so we can do something with it that will help us. There are 2 things you could do to start with. I'm going to do the most difficult one first, the one that people make most mistakes with. What I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to expand the brackets, I'm going to get rid of the divide by 10 here. This side is divided by 10, which I don't like. So if I multiply this side by 10, then that will eliminate this. But whatever I do to this side, I must do to this side. So I'm going to multiply that side by 10. And this is where the problems occur. This side becomes just the top part, which is 2 open bracket 3x plus 5. That's fine. It now is no longer divided by 10. But this side, the whole thing is multiplied by 10, so you must use brackets. Once you've got that correct, the rest of this is rather like the last example, and I'm sure you can do it. You still can't use the flowchart because x is in 2 places, so we have to expand, which I'll do quickly. Once you've got that, I still can't use the flowchart because x is in 2 places, so what I'm going to do is take away 6 from both sides, take away 6x from both sides. This eliminates and becomes 10 equals 10 take away 6 is 4x, take away 10, and now I'm in a situation where I can use the flowchart. If you can guess it, by all means guess, using your common sense more than anything, but I'm going to do it using this so you know what to do if you can't do it the other way. Times by 4, take away 10, gives you the answer 10. Now 10, add 10 is 20, divide by 4, 20 divided by 4 is 5, so x equals 5, and I would check that in the question. Right, in this example, you're dividing both sides by something. This side is divided by 3, this is divided by 4, so the best thing to do here is to multiply this side by 3 and this side by 3, which will do this. So I'm going to multiply by 3 here and by 3 here. So that means that divided by 3 times by 3 cancels, I just end up with x plus 1. This side I'm multiplying by 3, so I've got to multiply the whole thing by 3, which we would write like that. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 to eliminate this. And you can probably guess what's going to happen. This side here, because the whole thing is multiplied by 4, goes like that with a 4 outside the brackets, and this side is 3 open brackets x take away 1. So I've got rid of the nasty stuff off the bottom, and at this point I still can't use the flowchart, so I'm going to have to expand. So 4x plus 4 equals 3x take away 3. Still can't use the flowchart method, so I'm going to take away 3x from both sides. That will give me x plus 4 equals negative 3. At this point, what, when you add 4 to it, is negative 3? Well, just to avoid problems, you can use the flowchart, although I don't recommend it at this point in your mathematical career. I imagine you can do that. So I take x, I add 4, and it becomes negative 3. So reversing it, I take away 4, and that becomes negative 7. So the answer is x equals negative 7. And don't forget, stick it in here to check. Maybe I'll do that this time, just so that you can trust me. So I'm going to put negative 7 in here. So that's negative 7 add 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Negative 7 take away 1 is negative 8. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. So I've checked it and it's correct. Right, I'm going to go through this one rather quickly. It's quite a straightforward example. It's just showing you that basically an example where there's something on the right isn't quite as complicated. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. So multiply by 3 will give me 2x take away 1 equals 3x over 2. And multiply both sides by 2, which is going to give me 2. 2x take away 1 equals 3x. I still can't use the flowchart. As you know, x is in 2 places, so I'm going to expand the brackets. 4x here, 2 times 2x, and 2 times negative 1. At this point, again, I'm going to take away 3x from both sides. Here this becomes x take away 2 equals 0. Well, I'm definitely not going to use the flowchart to work out that x is 2.